Hey guys, I'm going to run through converting between three forms of the linear equation. When we talk about the three forms, what we're talking about is y equals mx plus b. That is your slope-intercept form. We talk about y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. That's point slope. And then ax plus by equals c. That's standard form. So we're going to go back and forth between these forms. What you see in yellow here is the form that you're supposed to turn it into. So it says slope-intercept, get y alone. So when I see an equation like this one in standard form, I'm going to get y by itself. So I start by undoing anything being added or subtracted. So I'm going to subtract this 2x because it's added to that 5y. You can't take 10 minus 2x and get like 8. So you'd have 5y equals 10 minus 2x. Now a person could write 5y equals negative 2x plus 10 as well, and that would be okay. It's either or. Y is not completely alone now, so I'm going to divide and divide. When I do that division, I got to remember that it's the 10 being divided and the minus 2 being divided. So I get y equals 10 divided by 5 is 2, and then minus 2/5 x. You can write that as a decimal, but I don't see the point in doing that really. I just leave it as a fraction. Next thing we're going to do is, again, it's still slope-intercept, but we're going to turn point slope, or from point slope into slope-intercept. Same concept, but you have to start by distributing. Notice that right here it tells you that distribute. So I have y minus 2 equals 2x plus 6. I just want to get that y alone, so this time all I need to do is add 2. And I have it in slope-intercept form. Y equals 2x plus 8. I'm going to put a box around the answer up here, and put a box around this one. So there's our first equation. We went from point slope and standard form. We turned these two right here into that one. Now we're going to turn ones into standard form. And third and fifth hour, you guys saw a little bit of practice with this yesterday. So you have to remember a couple of things, that when you are turning something into standard form, you need to get rid of your fractions. You need to get x and y on the same side. And oftentimes people say ax needs to be positive. That first term out here needs to be positive. So the first thing I do when I'm looking at this one is I notice that this x could be on the other side of that line. You know, if you're picturing this as a equation, like if you're solving, I'd want this x to be over here. So I might subtract 2/3 x. Now, this is a positive y. That's a minus or negative x. So that and a minus sign travels with that 2/3. Because the form of the equation puts ax first, I'm going to put this x first and say negative 2/3 x. And then positive 1y equals 5/3. Now I need to get rid of this denominator of 3, but I don't want to get rid of the whole fraction. If I wanted to get rid of 2/3, I'd multiply by 3 over 2. But multiplying by 3 over 2 would create a fraction here. That's not what I want. I just want the denominators gone. So you need to multiply by that denominator. Maybe make an arrow here and make that stand out to yourself. I'm going to multiply by negative 3 on this one. Now multiplying by negative 3 is going to turn this term positive, and it's also going to get rid of my denominator. So this would be like 3 over 1. So this would be 6 over 3, or 2. Negative 3 times y will be minus 3y. And then this will be like a 1. So that'll be negative 15 over 3, or negative 5. So I have all integers, no fractions. I've got x before y, and x and y are on the same side. All right, let's turn to the back side. We're going to do another standard form, but this time from point slope. Similar concept, you have to start with distributing first though. Your directions are right up here in red, letting you know every step. So I have y plus 3 equals 3x plus 6. And then on this one, it's not a lot of extra steps. I need to get this over here, and I need that 3 to get over there. So I'll have y equals 3x plus 3. I'm sort of regretting my choice here now, because now I have to get this 3 over to the side with the y. And I end up with negative 3x. And this is a y hanging out by itself, so it'll become plus y equals 3. The reason why I'm sort of regretting my choice in bringing this 3 over here instead of bringing y over there is that now I've got a negative right here, and I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to take the entire equation times negative 1, and that'll get rid of that. That'll make this 3x negative minus y equals negative 3. Having the first term be positive is something I noticed on the MCA practice stuff. Sometimes in class, if you forget this step, I might let that go. I want you always practicing for how they're going to assess you or test you. All right, the next one is turning things into point slope. So if I have a slope-intercept equation, remember it tells me my rise and run, but it also tells me my y-intercept. It's telling me where this line crosses the y-axis. In fact, it's giving me a point then, and it's giving me a slope. And the information is just sitting there. So then all I need to do is take that point and put it into the form of the equation. This is my x sub 1, and this is my y sub 1, and that's m. So I'll say y minus 7 equals 3 times x minus 0. I usually leave the 0 in so it looks like it's in the form of point slope. Some people would just put x in parentheses. I always feel like making it look like it's in point slope makes more sense to me. So that would be that answer right there. Going from standard form to point slope is a little more putsy, because remember, standard form doesn't give me an x or a y-intercept just from looking at it. And it definitely, I can't see the slope just from looking at it, and I'm trying to make point slope. I'm trying to write this equation. And I don't have a point sitting here, and I definitely don't have a slope. So what I usually do is I turn it into slope-intercept first, even though it's asking for point slope. So I subtract 2x, and I get 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. I divide both sides by 3, and I get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. Now the purpose in doing that was it gave me this point, 0, 2. So that's my x sub 1 and my y sub 1. And it gave me this slope. That's going to be m. So then I have y minus 2 equals negative 2/3 times x minus 0. And that'll be the form of the equation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some quizzes linked up for you that I want you to do. The quizzes will be graded. It's practice, but I'm going to grade it to kind of make sure everybody knows what they're doing. You'll have a couple of tries to get it right. When you finish that quizzes, then you move on and you start doing like book it. So I'll make it really clear in there which one is the graded one and which one is the practice afterwards. Okay?